is Disney Classic Games Collection brings Aladdin and The Lion King to consoles and PC this fall. And yes, it includes the good version of Aladdin.
That's a spicy take, Will. Izzy, what do you have to say about that, Izzy?
It's not a spicy take. It's 100% factual.
So this is crazy.
All right, so too long didn't read. Disney announced that they are bringing Aladdin and The Lion King, the 16-bit versions of those games, to modern consoles. It'll be on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It's the Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King collection. But here's the thing, because it's not just the Genesis version of Aladdin and the Genesis version of a Lion King, upscale graphics to support high definition displays and additional graphical upgrades to enhance playability. For example, like scan lines, smoothing options, things like that. There are also several different versions of these games. Mm-hmm. So you get the Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Super Game Boy versions of Aladdin, as well as the Super Nintendo, Genesis, Game Boy, and Super Game Boy versions of The Lion King.
So that's what's weird, is that you don't get the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin.
Here's why. Here's my theory.
All right, you tell me yours, and then I'll tell you mine, because I just came up with the theory as you were talking.
Okay, so the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin was made by Capcom.
Correct.
The Genesis version of Aladdin, in addition to the Lion King games on all platforms, were made by Virgin Interactive. So this is the Virgin Interactive Disney collection.
Oh, that makes the most sense.
What was your theory?
My theory is that we're getting SNES games on the Switch.
Oh.
And they're just going to put the Super Nintendo version on that.
They could do that too.
It's probably both.
It could very well be both.
There's going to be some weird licensing issues if they want to put Aladdin for free on Switch Online.
Yeah.
But that makes the most sense that it was made by a different developer.
Yeah.
But it could be both.
It could be.
It could be that it was made by a different developer and Capcom's gonna throw it into the Switch Online.
But I think it's really cool that not only are we getting the console versions, we're getting the Game Boy versions, because you never think you're going to see the Game Boy version again. Those are always the lesser versions. What I find weird, though, is that they're giving you both the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis version of The Lion King, even though I don't know if there's anything substantially different between the two versions.
It's going to be subtle differences. Like, for example, the menu is clearly different.
Yeah.
But if you were a kid growing up with the Super Nintendo version and then you buy this and you're playing the Genesis version, things will be weird.
Wrong. Yeah.
Things will be a little different. So it makes sense to include both versions.
It's also going to include, like, you can listen to the soundtrack.
Yes.
To each games, like all the different versions of the games. It'll have a rewind feature, which a lot of classic platformers are now getting. It'll have also you have it on screen, a watch mode where the game just plays itself and you can hop in at any time to take over.
Yeah, so if the game's too hard, you just throw it into, like, if you can't beat a certain part, you just throw it into watch mode, watch the AI beat it, and then you just jump back in afterwards, which is for pusses. Yeah. But go nuts.
Rewind feature is one thing. Play it on your own.
I already think the rewind feature is too much.
Yeah,
but this is the coolest part.
Yeah, the trade show demo.
That's amazing.
The 1993 trade show demo, I guess when they were taking it to different trade shows to showcase what the game is, that demo was thought to be lost to time, and now here it is in this collection for you to play.
I would love to see that in a lot more collections.
Yeah.
Well, that's why this is so cool, is because everybody wanted a virtual console.
Yeah.
So we can get these games piecemeal. But Nintendo's doing their own thing and leaking games out here or there and putting it onto their subscription service, and people hate that, and some people think it's all right. I think it's all right.
Yeah.
But as a side effect of that, we're getting things like this, where it's this special edition vaulted collection of these ROMs that then include weird stuff like the trade show demo.
Not only that, I mean, it's not in the trailer, but you're also getting the final cut of Aladdin. So apparently the Genesis version of Aladdin was completed in a very short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of things either left on the cutting room floor or certain technical glitches and stuff that they weren't able to iron out of the final product. So there's going to be, I think it's a separate mode called Final Cut, where it's the final version of the game as it was intended to be. So anything that got cut gets put back in, any technical issues get ironed out, and things like that. So that'll be interesting to see.
There's also, they say visual enhancements. I don't see.
That's just basically like, all the regular crap that they put into retro games, like scan lines, smoothing options, things like that.
I was a little worried because I thought they were calling it a remaster.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider this a remaster at all. This is just the ROM to me.
Kinda.
Like those visual enhancements are not visual enhancements.
What do you consider the Mega Man Legacy Collection? Those aren't remasters. Those are just...
No, it's just a collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So that's basically what this is, yeah.
Yeah, but when they call it a remaster, I'm thinking like,
well, again, remember,
like Spyro and Crash.
Well, remember, like those games were made for like, 240p screen. Now they got to blow it up to 1080.
Like DuckTales.
Yeah, that's a remaster.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's more of a remake.
What do they call it?
DuckTales Remastered.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when I hear remaster, I think something like that.
It's so because they use remaster, remake, reboot for like the same thing. Like Resident Evil 2 is not a remaster, that's a remake.
That's a remake. That's from the ground up.
Yeah.
When they're just changing the assets, that I think of as a remaster, like DuckTales, where they change the assets but the game is the same.
But they changed a lot more in that game than just the assets. They added voice work. They added like extra levels. They added the Scrooge McDuck's Money Pit.
You're right. That's a remake.
That's a
they should have called
remake.
that a remake.
Something like Devil May Cry on the Switch. That's a remaster because that's just the same game.
I'm thinking of like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles that they're making, where they just make the textures nicer.
That's a remaster.
That's a remaster.
Yeah.
They're remastering it. It's like when they take like the Beatles and they remaster the recordings.
Exactly.
They're just polishing it up a little bit.
Exactly.
Instead of remaking it from the ground up, So this is I would just consider this a collection.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider this a remaster or anything. But it is, all the other stuff that we're getting is cool.
Yeah.
I will say that it does suck that we're not getting the Super Nintendo version. A lot of people would rather have the Super Nintendo version. Pretty sure Izzy is losing his damn mind in the chat right now.
Why?
Let's have a vote in the chat. Right, Genesis if you prefer the Genesis version of Aladdin, or Super Nintendo if you prefer the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah.
I also thought maybe they included the Genesis version because it sold more.
Oh yeah, definitely did.
Yeah,
but I think it's because those are all Virgin Interactive made games.
No, I think you that makes the most sense.
But speaking of Capcom and Disney, a few years ago they made the Disney Afternoon Collection, which was a collection of DuckTales, DuckTales 2, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers 1 and 2 from the NES, and they put that collection on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. Currently not on Switch. And that's the perfect game for the Switch. I would absolutely buy that if it came out on the Switch.
Yeah. It's this is just a collection.
Yeah, but it's all the NES games is DuckTales 1 and 2, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, and that Darkwing Duck game is basically Mega Man.
So we completely lost the remaster of DuckTales, right? It's off of the store. You can't buy it.
You can't buy it. Yeah.
That was as of like a week or two
ago.
Yeah. Was that ever on the Switch?
No.
It
was on the Wii U.
Why was that taken off?
They probably lost the licensing agreement with Disney.
Who?
Capcom.
Okay. So that is what's going on there? Does that have anything to do with why Aladdin wasn't on this?
I don't know. Because I think Disney Afternoon is still available. You can still buy that.
And there's some Capcom games in here? No?
Those are all Capcom games.
These are all Capcom games. Okay.
That came out before the Mega Man collection.
These are just ROMs, though. That was basically a remake, the DuckTales one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is like the Mega Man collection where it's all the ROMs,
Like they had to develop that.
Yeah.
For a while, you know? So
they took the ROMs, they like prettied it up for HD, and they added a couple of features, like the Mega Man collection.
Right. Okay. So something's up. Disney and Capcom, something's going on there.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, maybe they just don't want to pay them, and they were like, we could just cut them out of this deal.
Maybe.
We're going to sell a lot.
Yeah.
Screw them. We don't even need the SNES version.
Yeah.
Or maybe those are coming to Switch Online. Who knows? What do the chat have to say about I'm seeing a lot of Genesis.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of Genesis.
Yeah.
I haven't. It's taken me a while to even see A Super Nintendo
Here
one.
you go, Phil. There's only one reason the SNES version was omitted. It's trash, lol.
I only see 3 Super Nintendos so far. We got fake Izzy in the chat. Get out of here.
Shut it down. Even Reggie voted for Genesis.
Oh no, I see Super Nintendos are buried at the top. It looks, yeah, Super Nintendos. It looks like it's leaning towards Genesis. Leaning slightly towards Genesis. I gotta play both. I've played both, but I gotta sit down and I gotta determine which one.
The first time I ever played the
From
Capcom version of Aladdin was last year's Long Island Retro Gaming Expo, and I'm playing it and I'm like, I cannot get into this. This just feels wrong. It's like a weird parkour game.
Yeah, it's a platformer.
Yeah.
Whereas in the Genesis one, you have a sword
Yes.
and you can slash people.
Yeah.
Super Nintendo one looks a little better.
Kinda. The Genesis one though was actually made with Disney animators. Like they animated like all the run cycles and stuff. So it moves better than the Super Nintendo
Yeah, the Super
version.
Nintendo one noticeably looks like a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.